Before humans ever existed, this earth had already witnessed destruction. There was a time when this earth did not belong to humans, yet blood had already been spilled, fire had already burned, and the sky had silently watched everything. There were no houses, no voices, no civilizations, yet life existed, lives that were already writing their own story of destruction. Humans believe the history of destruction begins with them, but the truth is darker. Long before humans, this earth had already burned once. Humans were not the first rulers of this earth, so who came before? Thousands of years before the creation of humans, Allah created a different nation, the Jinn. They were not made from soil. They were not made from light. They were created from smokeless fire. Powerful, fast-moving, endowed with free will, a creation that made the earth their own. Humans now dream of such power, but the Jinn truly possessed it, and their story does not end here. It only begins. They did not merely live on Earth, they ruled it. The Jinn spread across the earth, mountains, deserts, valleys. Their presence was everywhere, their dominion unmatched. They were not weak like humans. Distances collapsed before them. Time itself seemed to pause in their presence. Have you ever wondered, before humans, whose kingdom truly ruled this earth? Where arrogance appears, downfall begins, and this can happen to you too. The Jinn had societies, they had tribes, they had leaders. Some drowned in worship, some pursued knowledge. But as power increased, arrogance entered. Silently it spread, from 1 to 10, from 10 to hundreds. Those who no longer feared Allah began to fear nothing at all. Ask yourself, has arrogance ever entered your life? The story of the Jinn is not history. It is a warning. Now begins the story of how their rule ended. This war began before humans, and its fire still burns today. One tribe rose against another. What began as disagreement turned into threats, then into bloodshed. Greed for power made brother raise weapons against brother. The soil of the earth turned red. Peace became nothing but a memory. You think this destruction belongs only to the past? No, it plays out in our lives every day. Only the names of the weapons have changed. This chaos called for Allah's command, and that command sealed the end. The Jinn began killing one another. The innocent were soaked in blood. The balance of the earth collapsed. Destruction reached a point where Allah could no longer remain silent. The fire of chaos rose toward the heavens. And in the heart of this destruction, a new order was about to begin. The story of divine intervention starts now. This question was born from the history of the Jinn. The angels were watching. a creation given free will, destroying itself. From this came a question: will you create another who will spread corruption and shed blood? Have you ever wondered bloodshed, chaos, corruption, all unfolding before their eyes? Why this question appears in the Quran? These were not mere words, they were shaped by the proof of the jinn's history. The heavens responded, and justice descended. Allah's command was given. The angels descended to the earth. This was not a warning. This was a command of complete destruction. The earth was no longer safe for the rebellious jinn. The sword of justice descended from the sky. One by one the jinn fell. Do you see the manifestation of Allah's power? This is not just their story, this is our lesson. The earth entered a new chapter, but not all jinn were destroyed. The rebellious jinn were defeated, many were destroyed. Some fled to mountains and islands, their dominion ended completely. But those who survived scattered to the edges of the earth. Desolate plains, dark caves, and within the ashes of destruction, a new threat began to rise, a name that history would never forget. He avoided war, but the heavens called him. Not all jinn were destroyed. Hidden in darkness was one jinn, immersed in prostration while war raged. The angels saw him, alone, seemingly innocent. By Allah's permission, he was taken to the first heaven. Can you imagine a jinn receiving honor amid destruction? His name will shock you. His worship set him apart, but danger hid within it. He was a jinn. His name was Iblis. While others fought, he worshipped. His devotion was constant, his obedience unwavering. But within this honor, a seed began to grow, the seed of arrogance. Do you know how the greatest worshipper becomes the greatest rebel? The story of Iblis is not about him alone. It is a mirror for you. The biggest fall comes after the greatest honor. And this was about to happen with Iblis. Even after the rule of the jinn ended on earth, one still stood apart: Iblis. His worship never stopped. Day after day, night after night, he remained in prostration before Allah. With Allah's permission, the angels took him from the first heaven to the second, from the second to the third, until the seventh heaven. In every heaven, he remained immersed in the worship of Allah. Because of this devotion, he was given a place among the ranks of angels, an honor never granted to a jinn before, and a closeness unlike any other. But hidden inside this great honor, a massive test was silently taking shape. The same prostration that lifted him so high was about to become the cause of his fall. Every sin begins with thinking yourself special. And this is exactly how it began with Iblis. Iblis now stood among the ranks of the heavens, surrounded by angels, those who never disobey Allah. He was still a jinn, yet his position was alongside the angels, equal in status, despite his origin. Slowly, a thought formed within him: I am here because of my worship. That thought began to shift. from gratitude toward self-importance. And in that moment, the seed of arrogance was planted. Have you noticed this in your own life? When after doing good, you start thinking, I'm better than others. That is exactly when Iblis smiles. Iblis didn't lose. He transformed into a test. And that test stands right in front of you today. Then came the command, a single command that exposed everything within Iblis. Allah commanded prostration, but Iblis froze. He said, I was created from fire, and he was created from clay. Within this one statement was arrogance, disobedience, and the belief of superiority. Allah questioned him, but Iblis did not humble himself. His refusal was not silence. It was a declaration of rebellion. As a result, Iblis was expelled from the heavens. Yet he did not surrender. He asked for time until the day of judgment. Give me time, he said, and I will lead humans away from your path. This kingdom does not rule with blood, it rules hearts. And that heart is yours. After being granted respite, Iblis was no longer alone. He established an invisible empire, organized, strategic, and relentless, who infiltrate human hearts, influencing thoughts and emotions from within. One disrupts prayer, another plants doubt. Some create conflict between husband and wife. Others pull people toward lies and arrogance. Iblis commands them, saying, whoever misleads the most people away from Allah is the dearest to me. This war cannot be seen, but it is happening every single day. The most terrifying war is the one you cannot see, and it is happening inside your mind. In the dark depths of the ocean, Iblis established his throne. From there, he calls his forces and assigns commands, each with a specific target. To one he says, plant doubt in human hearts. To another, create distraction in prayer. To others, create cracks between husband and wife. The more people one misleads away from Allah, the closer they become to Iblis. From this throne he does not rule lands, he attacks hearts every single day. Not every invisible enemy is Iblis, but every moment of heedlessness is an opportunity for Satan. Do you know which enemy you're fighting? Not all jinn are the same, just as not all humans are the same.
In the
Some
name of
jinn
God,
obey Allah,
the most gracious,
they listen
the
to the
most merciful.
Quran, they worship and they do not harm humans. They live far from people, in mountains, deserts and jungles. But there are disobedient jinn, evil jinn, whose role is to spread heedlessness. They live in abandoned houses, ruins, and dark, filthy places. Where Allah's name is not mentioned, they feel at home. They do not attack with force. They work slowly, planting fear, planting doubt, until wrong begins to feel normal. Have you noticed where you feel the most heedless? Evil jinn spread fear, but Allah provides protection. Which will you choose, fear or safety? Evil jinn do not attack directly. They first create an atmosphere. Sudden, unexplained fear, the feeling of a presence in the dark, pressure on the chest during sleep. These are their first weapons. They create sounds, move shadows until people panic on their own. But they have limits. They cannot break your free will. They cannot steal your faith. They can only harm when you are heedless. Where the adhan is heard, where the Quran is recited, where Allah's name is remembered, they cannot remain. Have you noticed where you feel the most peace? That peace is proof of your strength. Iblis doesn't break doors, he builds stairs, and you climb them yourself. Iblis does not destroy a person in one leap, he pulls them step by step. The first step is heedlessness, it's not a big deal. The second step is delay, I'll fix it tomorrow. The third step is habit. What was once wrong slowly becomes normal. The fourth step is excuses. My situation is different. At the final step, sin is no longer just sin. It becomes identity. Can you see which step you're standing on? At every step you lift your own foot. Iblis only builds the stairs. He never forces you to climb. Iblis is not powerful, he is opportunistic. And when do you give him opportunities? This ladder is not unbreakable. Iblis's chain is weak at one point. The moment you say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, the chain cracks and he retreats. Prayer, the Quran, and sincere repentance, these three destroy his entire strategy. He does not fight strength. He fights heedlessness. The more you remember Allah, the farther he is forced to go. So the real war is not with Iblis, it is with your door. Leave it open, and he will enter. Lock it, and he cannot. Start today with one a'udu. If this video helped lock Shaitan's door in your heart, hit like, share with family, and subscribe for daily Islamic reminders. Assalamu alaikum. Jazak Allah khair.